Welcome to GTC's Teaching Tidbits Blackboard Ultra. In this series, each episode we explore techniques, tips, practices, ideas to expand your knowledge of and your comfort with using Blackboard Ultra. I'm joined today by Rebecca Roth from the Curriculum and Instructional Support Center, CISC for short. Welcome, Rebecca.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Always great to have you or Lee, or both you and Lee, joining us for these episodes. In the last episode, Lee gave us a February Blackboard roadmap, and prior to that, he had given us our February updates and a sneak peek at what was coming and what was going to be new for March 2024. So Rebecca is here today to do a deeper dive into the newest updates in Ultra for March. So Rebecca, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, so we have every month, again, Blackboard gives some updates to our production environment. And so this month in March, you may have already seen several of these in effect. And so we just want to go over those. And then at the end of the presentation, we will go over what's coming up in April. So these are the highlights. There, of course, are always some smaller ones that may pop up, but we want to focus on some updates to the AI generator that many of you may have already noticed is turned on for you. We also have some updates to the due dates and flexible grading. Lastly, or not lastly, sorry, two more things. We have some notifications that are going into effect for both announcements and messages and column statistics. Without further ado, so as many of you have probably noticed, the auto generate option is turned on for everyone at this point. If you would like to join a cohort, reach out. We'll let you know about joining a cohort of instructors who are using the AI generator. But for now, as you go in and generate test questions from the test creating area, you can select a course item in addition to just typing in a description or just letting the AI generator create questions based on your entire course. So this would be best for if you're creating a quiz or a knowledge check that is specific to a module or even a document in Ultra. So you can choose those items and it will focus those questions generated. It will focus on the generation of those questions from that specific topic. So this is a really great way so we don't have to filter out the extra topics. Additionally, with the due dates, we now have an option to select a no due date option. So this is just, it's not that it wasn't there before, this is just more of a clear designator of not assigning a due date to an assignment. And in addition to that, the default due date has now been updated to the following day at 11:59 p.m. So as many of you have probably noticed, I do it too. When I'm creating a due date, it defaults to the current day or the next day at the current time. It's frustrating because very often with our online classes, we want it to be the end of the day. So they have now defaulted that to the following day, following the current day, but at 11:59 p.m. So that is going to be really helpful for setting those due dates for our assignments. Likewise, with flexible grading, there are constant updates that are coming each month to make this a little bit more user-friendly for everyone and instructor-friendly. One thing that Blackboard is focusing on is making sure that the flexible grading screen adapts to the user's preferences. So, in the past, they've added in the tabs across the top where you can toggle between the assignment and the assignment submission. They've added the students where you can select the students on the left, or you can hide that panel. So if you hide the student panel, or if you keep it on the question panel, the question tab in that panel, it will remember where you have stayed, even if you exit the screen and come back or even go to another assignment. So this will remember your preferences with both the student and question panel on the left and the feedback panel on the right. So if you keep your rubric collapsed, it will remember that your rubric is collapsed. If you keep it expanded, if you keep the descriptions, it will remember both of those preferences. So that's really nice for quickly grading those assignments. And again, if you know those rubrics inside and out like some of us do, you don't need the descriptions to show, but sometimes we do. So again, it will continue that, keep that setting as you move forward through the grading. All right, so the next thing is that the communication notifications continue to include the notification setting where it shows the number of unread messages or announcements in the top bar. So this is again helpful for both instructors and students to know if they have missed reading an announcement or a message. They can also go in and toggle between read and unread statuses for both announcements and messages. So just like we all do with our emails, if you mark it as unread, sometimes that's a great reminder to go back to that to notify myself as a follow-up. And I'm sure students do the same thing. So this allows them to be able to use that same flow both in their announcements and in messages in Blackboard. Next is the grade column statistics. So from either the grid view for the grade book or the list view, instructors can go into the statistics area and look at those column statistics for each grade column, so each graded assignment. So this will help instructors just kind of get a quick glance at those assignments and see, just like we had with original where you could go into those column statistics and get that information. You can toggle between the gradebook item over here on the left with this drop down. And this will give you, again, a quick view of that information for the due date, points possible, etc. And then, of course, the statistics from the students. And like I said before, this is accessible from both the grid view and from the list view. So whichever view you prefer working from, or if you just happen to be in, this is how you can get to those. All right, so those were the highlights for March. In April, you will see a continuation of, updated AI generator updates. So the context picker for the modules, you can go in and not only choose the content area to generate test questions, but now you can do context picker to create modules within that learning environment and the course content environment. Also, for the student notification, the student navigation across the modules, the next and back buttons will remain on the page no matter where they scroll within that page. So as they scroll to the bottom, they are still able to click next without having to scroll all the way back up to the top. Test questions, this is a big one for us. The default value will now change from 10 points to 1 point. So this is based on some feedback from various users across Anthology. So this will help you guys to create your test questions and to adjust accordingly. The next thing in the gradebook area, so there will be an indicator for a student's assignment that has been auto-submitted. So this is an easy way for instructors to view that and see, if there's an issue with the student's grade or the assignment itself, they can see if it was something that was auto-submitted. And then, as always, there are continued improvements within flexible grading with the different tabs and the different options with the rubrics. So that is coming soon. All right. All right,
Wonderful.
Rachel.
Thank you, Rebecca. I mean, these are great updates. I had actually noticed as you were describing the grading pane and all of the things, and now that it's remembering your preferences, I had actually noticed that the other day. I kept going in and it was still leaving my descriptions for my rubric open, and I thought, wait a minute. something's different here. I'm not having to
Right.
turn this on every time. So
Right.
that's a really exciting bonus there because I do prefer to have those descriptions open most of the time. So
Right.
what a great improvement that is just remembering that. So
Mhm.
helpful, really.
Right.
Um,
Right.
Oh, well, and looks like we have some additional things to look forward to in April as well. So thank you for sharing those updates with us. And of course, if you want to continue the conversation, ask more questions, request certain things be covered, you can definitely follow up with Rebecca or Lee or any member of the CISC staff over there. I've put their emails here on the screen for you. It's lee.mcminn@gbltec.edu or rebecca.roth@gbltec.edu. And of course, you could also just reach out to their department email, CISC staff@gbltec.edu. And then, of course, they have a wonderful new ticketing system that you can access. I think that link is in pretty much everyone's email signature now. If you were emailing with someone at CISC, you can also find a link to that in their CISC LibGuide, and you can get the link to that LibGuide in the description below this episode. So easy access to get to them, to connect with them, and they are wonderful about reaching back out and assisting with any of your questions or resolving any of your challenges that you're facing when it comes to Blackboard or technology or course design, etc. They're really great over there. If there's a particular element you'd like us to do a deep dive into, then please let us know. We're happy to do an episode that focuses more on one particular element. You can email me about that, rachel.cobb, rachel.cobb@gbltec.edu, and we will put that on our upcoming schedule of episodes as we're planning those. Well, that's our teaching tidbit for this episode of Blackboard Ultra, and we'll see you next time.